Joseph Welch. Today I will be talking. I will have the affirmative side of the debate about the minimum wage hike in California, specifically the minimum wage hike to $15 an hour throughout the entire state. But the affirmative side of the case is I will be debating that we should halt the increase in minimum wage to $15 that California voted on and passed as of last year, 2016, which is a plan to increase the minimum wage by 50 cents as of last year, and then for this next year, and then slowly increase it for 1 year every year after Governor Jerry Brown's term ends, until it reaches $15 an hour. All right. So I have, that is the main point of it. I have several main points about it. One is that the increased rate will damage California's economy directly through the minimum wage will still be threatened due to inflation and other problems. And it not being worth as much as it actually is in today's dollars. Goods will also increase in price, so even though you are making more money, you will still have to pay more, so you will not, in fact, be gaining as much per month. The state will also not be able to provide adequate education due to layoffs and other problems due to budget cuts, and because of the wage increase. And then the wage disparity between the lowest and highest will stay the same or grow even further, even with the increase in minimum wage. And then the second point is that small business market will be damaged. Small businesses will struggle to find workers. There will be a lack of available workers, which will lead to an increase in funds, but no avenue for the small business to use them or gain more for the small business because they won't have any employees to work in their company anymore. And then employers will struggle to pay workers due to the increased wages. And then 3, the increase in the minimum wage will negatively shift unemployment rates. And small businesses have, this is for 2, and that small businesses have already started to lay off people due to wage hikes that have started in several cities across California, such as San Diego and San Francisco. And then 3, the increase in minimum wage will negatively shift unemployment rates, so low-wage jobs will be left empty because the employers will not be able to pay for their employees, and jobs would be lost to save costs. They would be replaced with automation. We've already seen this in companies such as McDonald's, where they've replaced some of their cashiers with robots and computer screens. And then that's it for that. All right. So the first one, the minimum wage will still be threatened. Where is this? Yes. This is from Michael Hitzik from an article from the Los Angeles Times on the 28th of March, 2016. It's quoted that if the low inflation levels of the last 6 years continue through the next 6, California's proposed $15 minimum wage in 2022 would be worth only about $13.79 in today's buying power. So even if we do get a $15 minimum wage, it will not be worth as much following the future if our inflation patterns continue to proceed the way they are currently. And then, let's see, goods will increase in prices. Yes, we will not have the access to a quality education and will damage our schooling system, which is quoted from Daily News on August 28th, 2017. And it says that adjusting to increased labor costs on a fixed budget will require spending cuts such as reducing staff and services. Underprivileged school districts will feel the impact of these cuts far more than affluent districts along California's coast. So basically, because of the increased minimum wage, they'll have to lay off teachers, they will have to lay off assistant staff. So usually this would end up being, as they talk about in the article, it would be usually different forms of handicap assistance in schools or different special needs classes or extracurricular activities will be canceled, such as after-school programs. It would also lower money through sports. And then also the minimum wage will still be threatened, and I have a quote from Michael Hiltzik, again from the Los Angeles Times in March 2016, and it states that the inflation will obviously continue to eat away at the minimum wage because inflation is still increasing on the same path that it has been for many years. And also, because the goods will increase in price, which means you will not be able to afford things as easily as you would have been before. And this is from Sylvia and Michael Reich, Sylvia A. Allegretto, Michael Reich, and a couple other people from the Institute for Research in Labor and Employment as of this year from Berkeley. And it says there will still be a small price increase even with the increased minimum wage because the companies will still have to be able to pay their employees somehow. And they're experimenting this by either making people who are waiters also be busboys or also be front house servers in different jobs in restaurants specifically, because that is the industry that will be most damaged by the increase. Small business market will be damaged. This is a quote from Yusilia Wang, who is from The Guardian, and it's a quote from Marco Giannini, the CEO of Protein for Pets, a small pet food industry company in California, and he states that companies should look at outsourcing more technology and services because if you outsource things, you'll be able to save money in your company. So what they are looking at is outsourcing different companies to their online stores. So they don't have to have as many physical in-person stores, which saves them in labor costs and in utilities and other things like that, or changing what products the store itself buys. No, that's not it. Oh, also, yeah, it was the California economy might not be able to absorb the increase in minimum wage due to the increase to $15 an hour. And this is from Governor Jerry Brown's budget summary for 2016 and 17. He stated that $15 would create major increased costs, estimated more than $4 billion annually, sending the state budget to annual deficits and exacerbating a projected recession by raising business costs, resulting in more lost jobs. And then the smallest one will be hurt because there'll be a lack of available workers. Where is this? Yes, basically it explains that because the wage increase happens, it will mean that many employees will not be affordable because they cannot directly work they cannot be profitable for how much they are working and how much, not product they create, I forget the word, but they are not valuable enough for the time they are being used for at $15 minimum wage. And it states from Daily News again that minimum wage increases resulting in job losses for low-wage workers with possibly larger adverse effects. And a minimum wage increase of this magnitude will make many good, valuable employees unaffordable to companies that are smaller. That's not important. Oh yes, this is also it's at the moment many California. Okay, stop.